What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, Asians for Trump. Remember how a lot of them rallied behind him thinking that they would be safe? Yeah, now it's catching up with them. Anyways, credit to the original creators. Let's watch and we'll be back with commentary.
Filipinos for Trump!
Cannot break the law to stay here. You become illegal because America is a law and order. You have to follow the law.
Donald Trump is a convicted felon.
I believe that he's innocent. He's for American people. They don't want him to be a president, so they try to kill him. But luckily, God saved him and he saved America.
Do you think it's a good idea to negate all those student visas for international students?
I think most of the Chinese coming here, I'm not talking about all, but most spy. I'm guaranteed spy. They come over here and they steal the information and they come back home to do damage to America. So I agree that yank all the visa.
Is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Camel is never gonna beat me in November.
This is my outfit for today, and if you don't like it, you could leave. Okay, love you.
Well, I'm a legal immigrant. I came here right away. It took me 6.5 years to become citizen. My brother waited in China for 13 years come here. It is a slap in the face to all the legal immigrants who are still waiting in line all over the world with American sponsors. Some of them have been waiting for over 10 years. What kind of message do we want to send to the world? If you follow the law, we're going to punish you. And if you come here illegally, we'll give you quick pass to citizenship. I support deport all the illegal aliens who committed crime immediately.
I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support, the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Let me be crystal clear. Just because you've chosen to bend over backwards for white supremacy doesn't mean you get to speak for the entire Asian community. You don't, and you never will. What you said wasn't bold, it wasn't helpful, it was bootlicking. It was pick-me cosplay, wrapped in delusion that proximity to power means protection. But newsflash, power doesn't protect you. It uses you until it doesn't. You think following the rules makes you safe? Tell that to the Japanese families forced into internment camps. Tell that to Vincent Chin. Tell that to the 6 Asian women murdered in Atlanta. Tell that to every elder attacked in broad daylight just for existing. They followed the rules. They still suffered. You say Asian people support the country? No. You support the fantasy of conditional acceptance. You support the lie that if you stay quiet, obedient, and useful, you'll be left alone. But history says otherwise. And so do I. You say you don't care about migrant labor because we're not dependent on it? First of all, don't flatter yourself. Second, migrant labor built this country. And third, I stand with all marginalized communities. Black, brown, undocumented, queer, indigenous, all of them. Because justice isn't a limited resource. And if your idea of survival is throwing other people under the bus, you're not surviving. You're just begging for crumbs. You praise deportation like they don't tear families apart, like trauma isn't passed down, like you're immune. You're not. This system doesn't see you as one of them. It never has. And when they're done with the others, they'll come for you too. To everyone watching, this is why Asian creators must speak up. Because silence doesn't protect you. It just leaves others more vulnerable. I will not be silent while people are dehumanized. Not in my name. I'm Asian, I'm a creator, and I reject every ounce of that rhetoric. Because standing up for our people means standing up for all people. If your liberation depends on someone else's oppression, it's not liberation, it's cowardice. So no, I will not stay in my lane. I'll speak up, I'll show up. And I will stand with every marginalized group fighting to be seen, heard, and free. If that bothers you, maybe you were never about justice to begin with.
TikTokers are so hard to please. I made a video about different types of MAGAs. I went into like minority MAGAs, blackas, and Hispanagas. But of course, someone's like, what about the Asian MAGAs? I don't know. How am I supposed to describe Asian MAGAs, man? There's like 12 of them in the whole country. I mean, a little bit more. Asians, by the way, only make up 3% of the voting electorate. If I was an Asian MAGA, I guess I would say these two things would be my mascots. You got this Twinkie right here who's got a nice golden yellow crust on the outside and a white creamy filling on the inside. Much like a banana, you peel away that yellow outer layer and you got a white doughy middle. Yeah, Asian MAGAs, Asiagas. Sounds like a type of cheese.
Hold on. Is Donald Trump really trying to send undocumented Filipinos to Libya? So here's the deal. The Trump administration was floating the idea of sending undocumented migrants from Asian nations like Filipinos, maybe Laos, Vietnam, to Libya, to deport them to Libya, not their home country, but to Libya. Immediately, human rights groups started begging the Trump administration not to send these migrants to Libya because Libya has a horrible track record, apparently, of how it treats its migrants, from detention centers that people call hellholes to torture. And it didn't take long for the courts to respond, blocking the Trump administration from deporting Asian nationals to Libya, really all migrants. When things like this happen, I always like to see how people voted. So I went to My Asian Voice, which is a data research service for Asian Americans. They broke it down by subgroups. You can see it right here. Over half of each subgroup did vote for Kamala Harris. The numbers are down from President Joe Biden in 2020, but you can see it here. More than half went for Kamala Harris. So therefore, basically, they didn't vote for this.
You guys are really dumb. Seriously, the whole world knows you guys are dumb. Only you guys don't know about it. I'm Chinese. I'm just very straightforward. You guys are so stupid. If the lies too complicated, you guys cannot even understand. So politicians have to make the most obvious, most ridiculous lies, and you guys like, oh, I get it. That makes sense.
Trump is a cult leader, and it should be absolutely no surprise that he appeals to the more ignorant and hateful part of our country, because people who lack critical thinking skills and who are hateful of other people are so much more easy to control. Because guess what? It is so much easier to think that the problems in our country lay within the immigrant population, lay within any of the minorities, lay within anything outside of the government itself. But he has done such a good job convincing more than half of this country, it seems, that the problem lies everywhere outside of us. That there's nothing that we're doing as a country that's incorrect and is causing the immense pain that most people are going through. But instead, he's convinced the ignorant and the hateful that, yeah, no, the immigrants are the problem. The immigrants are the reason that you can't have a good living wage. The immigrants are the reason why food prices are going up. The immigrants are why you can't get a good home for a good price. Like, how does any of this make sense? It doesn't make sense, right? And that's exactly why these people follow him. Blindly support him. Blindly follow him. Like, anytime, and I have people who I know support Trump, and every time I speak to them about, oh, look at what he did, XYZ, it's like, oh, but he wants to get the immigrants out, but he wants to make our country a better place. Show me in the last 5 months how Trump has made this country a better place, because I can name a million of how he's made this country worse.
This message is for any Asian MAGA out there. We're next. I want to remind you that we are closer to the undocumented immigrants that are being deported right now than we are to them. We have more in common to the undocumented immigrants than we do to them. You remember how quickly MAGA turned on us during COVID, and it didn't matter if you were Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Filipinos. To them, we were just chinks responsible for the China flu. It is foolish and frankly embarrassing that you think just because you wear the red hat that you're going to be spared when your time comes. This country is never going to be pure enough or white enough, and they are never going to accept you the way that you accept them. They have forgotten that they too have immigrants' blood in them, but let us not forget the crazy, difficult journey our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents took to get here, to escape their country for a chance of a better life. This is not it. Everybody deserves that chance.
I've been seeing so many people posting videos of their parents that are immigrants and kind of just showing that immigrants are not scary and that immigrants are what makes America great, and I 100% agree. I love seeing those videos. I so badly want to be able to post a video of my parents and my family to also participate. However, my immigrant parents are scary. They voted for Donald Trump. I don't know what's not clicking up here, but they voted against their own best interests, and it makes me feel so embarrassed and sad that they have so much hate in their hearts that they can't even see how negatively this is going to impact people that are just like them.
So my aunt is MAGA Republican, and she is the last person that probably should be a MAGA Republican. She is a once illegal immigrant, lesbian, Filipino minority. And now you're probably wondering, how is that possible? But any Filipino American can tell you that this cult can convert anyone, even a lesbian Filipino that was once an illegal immigrant, to vote against illegal immigrants. And she claims she's not even doing it on the grounds of Christian hate or Christian love, whatever you want to call it, because it actually started today because she was complaining about my parents who are too Catholic. And so my parents are, unfortunately, are also MAGA Republican. Not that I understand them on why they are, but they are at least standing on the business of Christian love. And my aunt was complaining that they are too Catholic and she's too much of a free thinker, that she'll accept all religions and she'll go to any church, and she believes that they're all worshiping the same God, and so she doesn't care. But my parents are too strict on that, and Catholicism is the one right religion and everyone should be following that. That's when I start to rebuttal and I tell her she's no better because she's still MAGA Republican. And of course, at that point, she has to defend herself. And she essentially has two reasons on why she would vote for Trump, or believes that the illegal immigrants should be taken out of this country. The first reason, which will tie into later for her second reason why it's stupid, is because she said when she was an illegal immigrant, she was constantly looking over her shoulder, wondering when is the day that they're going to find her and deport her because she's here illegally. And she believes nobody should ever feel the way she felt. And it was just so horrible of an experience that she basically wants to close the door behind her because no one should ever feel like that way. So thank you for my citizenship and goodbye to everyone else. You shouldn't feel what I went through. She then gets into how Trump has made her feel safe in this country again because he's deporting all of the illegal immigrants, which she claims are now much more violent and more rapists and so forth since she was an illegal immigrant. So I don't know what the difference is between her and the illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants of today, where she believes, I guess, she was the smarter one, and now they're just dumb and committing crimes and so forth, and they're not looking over their shoulder like she was. I don't know. So I try to tell her that that's just using them as a scapegoat, because I gave her stats that illegal immigrants are actually more unlikely to commit crimes than U.S.-born citizens, especially because if she was an illegal immigrant herself and she has her own story on how she was always looking over her shoulder, you would think that other undocumented immigrants would also be cautious and not want to be caught, but I guess only she's the smart one. And she says, I don't have stats, I just have the feeling that I am safer now. I said, like, that's not a thing then. You're just going on your feeling. I'm actually trying to give you stats. And she said, like, no, your stats can be emotional too. And I was like, what? First of all, what? And so I said, like, at least it's more, it is more research than she's ever done rather than just voting on a feeling. And so she said, like, well, at the end of the day, only God knows the true stats anyway. And so that's when I challenged her, trying to say, well, then maybe don't vote if you don't know the stats, if you aren't willing to do the research, if you don't want to believe the research, and you just shouldn't have an opinion. And she says, no, I can have an opinion because it's how I feel. And I am so tired of this. Like, how are you allowed to have a vote and a feeling when you're just going in with your intuition, your wrong intuition, because you could be thrown all the stats in the world. Sorry, lights went out. But you can be thrown all the stats in the world and it won't convince you because you believe the propaganda that Trump and his minions have put out there, that this country is safer because he's getting rid of the illegal immigrants that are less likely to commit crimes than US-born citizens. But then it gets even worse. Like, she then adds, after saying all of that, she says, but you know, if it were up to me, there should be no such thing as an illegal immigrant. We should just let everybody in. So that's when I challenge her again. And I ask, so you agree pretty much with many Democrats, liberals, in the direction that maybe there should be more pathways to citizenship so that we don't have to deal with this, so that we're not gatekeeping it. And she was like, yeah, sure. And I asked her, like, so you agree with people like Kamala Harris? And she was like, oh, I don't know anything that Kamala Harris has ever stood for. But if it's illegal to be illegal or undocumented immigrants, then we have to get rid of them. Like, that's just the law. Like, follow the law. But if there was no law, then she would allow everyone to come in as they should. But because there is a law, she's saying we look stupid as a country for even having illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, simply because it's the law. And so therefore everyone should just follow the law, period. Which she didn't even do. So as you can all see, it is a very frustrating situation. I was just wondering, any Filipino Americans out there, have any of you been successful in converting your family members to not be so stupid? I don't even care about being that blunt. How do you convince your parents, siblings, aunts, uncles to not be that stupid? Because I think even any Trumper watching this video right now can agree that my aunt is dumb. And I'm sure those MAGA Republicans that are watching this video, if it happens to go on their feed, as dumb as they think my aunt is, they are very thankful that she voted the way she did.
So we saw it with Latinos for Trump. He came in with ICE raids, deportations, broken families, and now some Asians are realizing that they were never protected in the first place, right? They thought, nah, this won't touch us, but guess what? It did, right? Deportations, discriminations, policies that don't spare anyone, right? It's giving play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I'm not even trying to laugh at anyone's pain, but this is one of those FAFO moments, right? Black folks knew, Latinos knew, but I guess some Asians genuinely thought that Trump's law and order talk was about someone else, right? Now they're realizing that it's about anyone who is not white, right? So I mean, now the regret is loud. Families are being torn apart, visas revoked, and jobs lost, right? And the sad part is that they should have seen it coming, right? History already told us. Anyways, credit to all the creators. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll see you on my next one.